Welcome back to Me on the Mic. This week we're talking about someone who is certainly cool enough for us. It's Michael Clifford week.
I have never listened to Side Quest, at least not all the way through. I
Mm.
listened to the teaser of Cool when it dropped, but this is coming from the same person who, for the last 3 weeks, has said, I didn't listen to that when it came out. So give me, right, just give me a chance. You'll hear about it in a couple of years when I do listen to it, okay?
Yeah,
Um, I listened to Blood on the Drums like 3 years late. I didn't listen to Order Chaos Order the night it came out. That took me a couple of days.
cool.
But like, yeah, so I always listen to the solo stuff way later than I should, so I'm aware that even me just saying I haven't listened to it yet is gonna make people go, "Oh, what the hell?" Um, I just don't really care to. I love listening to things when they drop, when I'm like heavily obsessed with that person and I already know what it sounds like.
Mm.
Like going into Five Sauces, Everyone's a Star drop, stunning. But I didn't know what to expect from Michael's solo music, so I was like, I'll get round to it one day. And then other people drop, and then all these new things happen, and then my job changes, and then I move out of London, and then I'm sorry. It's just life has happened, okay? I will get round to it semi soon, hopefully. But when I listened to Cool, because that came out first, that was his debut single, so I listened to
Yeah,
that. My opinion on it is the thing is, when a debut song doesn't hit me, I then struggle to want to listen to the entire album. And this is nothing particularly with Michael Clifford, because I don't really like Aperture by Harry Styles, and I just don't really care for staying up until the midnight release and all that stuff because
yeah. I'm
if a
not.
whole album, if a whole album sounds like a sound that I don't want to listen to, I'm not gonna spend my time and energy forcing myself to listen to
That
something I
being
don't really want.
that being said, I'm gonna I'm gonna look like such a hypocrite because guess what I'm filming after this? A complete recap and predictions about the new Harry album. Sorry, I'm not gonna stay up till midnight to listen to it, but I am gonna see what people are saying and decide based on that. And that's exactly what I think it was like with Cool. Is like,
Yeah,
yeah. Especially
I
because
just
him and Callum, Call Me, no, Don't Forget You Love Me and Cool. I feel like they came out so close together. And I was so wrapped up in
mhm.
all of the Callum stuff, especially because I was like watching all of his release, like watching everything as it came out and keeping track because I was lining up to interview him, which I did. Um,
Mhm.
and I was paying attention to every little thing that Callum was doing on that press run because, again, I wanted that information so that I was like really aware when I interviewed him. I kind of only listened to Side Quest after everything wrapped for Callum. And there was like a
Mhm.
month in between Callum's drop and Side Quest dropping. So yeah, like I didn't pay attention to Cool when it dropped. I did listen to Side Quest the day it dropped. But that's yeah.
Yeah, see, I'm the flip of that. I listened to Cool when it dropped. Not really my style, but I don't have anything against it. It's just I want to say it's too cheesy, but I don't
Mm,
know if that's the right word. But it's just not my style. And I will say, as biased as I am towards other members, there are other members' music solo wise that isn't what I would choose to listen to. That doesn't make it bad. I'm not saying it's a bad album or like a bad song or whatever. It's just not my first pick. I do think, however, the collaborations like Porter Robinson's and Waterpark, I think that is so cool. I think Porter Robinson, I think I've kind of heard of kind of here and there, in and out of kind of almost everything for the last 3 or 4 years. But I think
yeah.
that's because I've got some like mutual friends who tour with him and all this stuff. But regardless of, I've heard some very, very good things about Porter Robinson. So to see the same name on a Michael Clifford song, I was like, that's pretty sick. And I do know that that song gets a lot of love. Like Kill for Me Always, I think, is kind of
Yeah.
a fan favorite. And I think the is it Give Me a Break? Yeah, Give Me a Break
Yes.
with Water Park. That again, I'm not a huge Water Parks fan for no reason other than I just haven't listened to them. Right? They opened for Good Charlotte when I saw them years ago, and every now and again I'll get that one Water Parks song stuck in my head. I think it's called Pink. I'm sure I would be a fan of Water Parks if I bothered to listen to them. However, my point being, a collaboration with Water Parks is just so fitting as because everyone's been spreading rumors about them for years, right? And to have a song like that with Austin and to then make the music video of them.
Have This is the thing I have not seen enough people talking about. We're all focusing on Michael and Austin or Kissy Kissy. Half the time Otto's in the background and no one's talking about it. Nobody is talking about the
Yeah,
fact that who poured the poison? It was Otto. Who's in the back of the classroom? It was Otto. Huh?
Who the fuck is Otto? I don't know who Otto is.
He's in Water Parks, the band.
I just told you I don't know Water Parks. I know one song because they opened for Good Charlotte. That's it.
Yeah, and I don't blame you, but there are all of these like hardcore like Five Sauce and Water Parks fans who are like, "Oh my goodness, Austin Knight in this video, blah blah blah." I'm like, why is no one talking about the fact that Otto's also in the video? But anyway, I'll calm down. Um, see, but
But yeah,
that was needed.
but yeah, the music video I think was very clever to lean into this like fan culture, this like fanficness stuff. That was very fun. Um, and I do think the thing is, what I love about SideQuest, despite the fact I've not listened to it, Zip It, I loved the marketing around it. I think
Mm,
the color schemes, I think the like kind of collageness of it, like the scrapbookiness of it,
mm.
has been really fun. And I think the events that he did alongside it were very cool.
Yeah, I mean,
Like Luke,
it made it literally like a side quest because every other day he was doing
yeah,
something bizarre, and so it was like it's not just like it it became like a whole universe of its own. Like
mhm,
it was very much a side quest, and especially what made it even more fitting is that Michael's going off and doing all of these little things. Then you have his streamed concert thing, and at the end of that, he had the like "see you soon," and that's what led into everyone's star era. So it literally was like this is just his little side quest that he's going on. Now, I say just his little side quest. That I'm not saying that to like take away from his solo era, but it's it sort of gives context to his mentality and his yeah. I'm gonna stop
and
myself.
Michael himself did say he only did it because everyone else did it. Like he's like, I made an album because they all made albums, and I wanted to make an album. Fair enough. Like the thing is, I think sometimes music gets too deep for people.
Mm,
Like sometimes people are trying to pick apart everything and find this like deeper meaning when in some cases it's just, well, everyone else did it and I wanted to do it. So like I did it. Cool.
yeah.
Fantastic. And like the thing is, and I think it's really important and I think it's so cool that all of them have had the opportunity to do this. And in the same breath, the band has stayed as strong, if not got stronger
Mm,
because of all of them going off doing their own thing, experimenting with their own sounds, and like as well, I think it's really cool that they didn't hire each other. Like Callum didn't have Ashton playing drums on his album.
yeah.
Michael didn't hire Callum to do bass on his album, so on and so forth.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
They haven't hired each other to like play their respective instruments, and it's not like Michael Clifford and Luke Hemmings are singing this song. No, like they've just like they've really done their own thing and like really made it separate from the band by not layering the
Hmm.
band within that. Otherwise, it just becomes more Five Source records, which is exactly what they didn't want to do. you like Michael creating this solo album and having this, and the thing is, it's so stereotypical, like pop punk. He's got such a like specific niche, and it
Yeah.
works so well for him because I don't think anyone else in the band can pull off that niche the way that Michael does. And I just think it's so cool that he was able to really, really lean into it with his own album because I don't think Five Sauce would be able to get away with making that sound.
No.
It just works so well for Michael, and I think it's really fun that they were all able to do their own little thing. Like it shocked me that Callum did the sound that he did. I didn't think Callum would go down that like more melancholic, calm route. I thought he'd do something more loud.
Like rock, like heavy rock is what I was thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought at the very least there'd be a lot more bass,
Mm,
but there wasn't.
yeah, exactly. It was that was what was so funny with this album is it was somehow everything you'd expect from Michael and also not at the same time. It's like I think sonically I'm like, yeah, that's kind of what I thought, but like visually it was so much louder where I expected him to be kind of shy because he's always, at least from how I've perceived him, been quite like here's me, but like I'm just gonna hold back a little bit because I'm not sure if you want this, which I mean he addresses in cool, but it was really nice to see that he was sort of embracing that in a solo environment as well, where like if you do feel a little unsure, you don't have anyone else to lean on. Where like in the band, if someone's having an off day, then they might not answer as many questions. Like, Callum might go quiet, and then Ashton might be loud, or Luke might go quiet, and Michael's loud. But like, he really had to sit in the moments where he was uncomfortable in interviews and stuff, and just like push through it. And I think because of that, it has made this new era with the band so much stronger because like all of the boys now are like, oh, I can do this. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah, like you say, he has always been kind of a little bit reserved, and I think kind of being labeled the emo one of the band kind of played into that. And I think him then pushing back and playing into it, but like in the opposite way of like, yeah, look, visually, yes, sonically, yes. But with that came so much confidence and so much of him like coming out of his shell. And I think being a dad and being a husband has also played a massive part in him growing as not only an artist but as a human being. I think he's really found himself in his relationship and becoming a father. And I think releasing the album and having his little thanks to his daughters. At the time, he only had one, and no one knew about the second, simply
yeah,
Michael. Um, but I think it really goes to show what's important to him and why he did it and why it's important to him and why it's so vital to any artist to create their own thing in the way that they want to, because you take it back to the band dynamic every single time. Four people have to have a say in it at least, not
mm,
including maybe other writers, other producers, other whoever's. When Michael, you're creating your own album, that's just Michael. That's Michael going, this is what I want to write, this is what I want to sing, and this is how I want it to sound.
yeah,
Without Ashton going, what if we did a drum riff here? What if Luke did an ad lib here? It's like, no, this is this is how I want it to sound. And it does, like you said, it sounds so it's that's what I expected a Michael album to sound like. That proper, because I've not listened to it, but unavoidably I've heard parts of it. I don't
yeah,
know what parts I've heard from what songs because I don't know. But being on Stan Twitter and having everyone freak out about Austin and Michael, naturally I've just heard parts of it. And it is so obviously a Michael album. It's just so obvious.
yeah. And I think like what you've said about like how Michael becoming a dad and husband has like really shaped that. I think you really see that at the end in Eclipse is like that song wouldn't have existed in the band because it's so deeply personal. Did I say that right? Deeply personal about his wife and his two little girls, which again at the time we didn't know that Sadie was about to enter the world. Um, and even just like the line. I didn't know this was something I almost missed. Like, if that was in the band and someone like Ashton or Callum who doesn't have kids yet sang that, I think even if it was sang by Michael or by Luke who do have kids, it would still kind of like fall a bit flat
Mhm.
because this is like a dad of two girls and that makes it so much stronger and also like having Lewis giggles in it like really adds to that. Um, but it is also really nice that in this whole album he spent most of the other songs been like, I don't know what direction to go. I feel really unsure of myself. Sometimes I just don't like who I am. And then like the album finishes with like, but despite all this, I've got my wife and my
But with from the get-go, with him dropping cool and the message that is very clear throughout cool, I think I can't say the word cool again. I just think it's really interesting that he was able to kind of hit the nail on the head with how he was feeling
hmm,
because he's been very vocal about his like mental state and his position in the band from the jump.
hmm.
And I think it was just don't say the word cool. I just think it was really I'm gonna have to shut up. I just think it's really cool that he was able to smush it all into one little song. But the way he made it so groovy and so upbeat, whilst going like, I don't think I'm good enough, ha ha ha. It's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna dance, but like, are you okay?
Yeah, which is really interesting because like cool is like, "Oh, I'm not sure if I'm cool enough. And then there's enough. It's like such a like screaming, am I ever going to be enough? Which it kind of reflects the same emotions as cool, but like you're actually finally letting out that scream, which it is my favorite song to scream
Mhm.
to because no one's really gonna. Everyone sort of assumes that it's more like, oh, this is a screaming sort of song. No one realizes that trap and that feeling was being stuck for quite some time. Have been like, I actually really relate. But anyway, and I think that's also something really nice is like in a lot of creative kids, you've had that moment of like, am I cool enough? Am I ever going to be enough? Is anyone ever going to accept me and my art like at where it's at? And so there were a lot of creative people who I saw who would like edit little videos of like them and their art over top of cool or enough. A lot of fans who listen to Michael all the time are people who deeply relate to Jet Blackheart, Cool, Enough, who have just never really felt like there was a space for them. And I think in every event relating to this album, there was really like space for that.
Mhm.
Even just like fans who they'd come online to Twitter and they'd talk about like the experience of actually telling Michael, like, hey, I feel so seen in these lyrics. And you see he just completely melts because it's an experience that he's like, oh, I'm so sorry that you relate. He's like,
Mhm.
I'm putting myself out there, but I hate that anyone else has experienced that. Yeah.
I do think as of throughout the years, Michael has been kind of the most like obvious comfort person in the band because he has been so outspoken about his mental state and he was always the one that wore all the wristbands that all the fans gave him and he didn't take them off for years because he was the one that was like really cultivating this relationship. So yeah, to have songs like that throughout Five Sauce's career and now his solo career, it makes so much sense that so many people just rush to him as like and hopefully not in a really parasocial, creepy way.
I
Um,
think what we really see with this album is that even though he's this guy who's so open, so vulnerable, and because he does become a comfort pe person to a lot of fans, if these fans really look into the lyrics of Give Me a Break, I think there's a message there is like, yeah, I'm open, I'm honest, I'm willing to share my story with you, but like, give me a break, stop demanding so much out of
like
me.
we are
Like,
not friends. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Um, because that's not your best friend. It's I think there's a try not to have try not to do too many puns here. Um, I think there's a line where these people are like the reason why people connect to creatives, and it's a conversation that we really need to dive into deeper as a whole, in these
Mhm.
creative spaces, is artists are going to feel deeply personal to you if they are your favorite because you have connected because some part of the story feels very similar to yours. And that is what art is supposed to do. The difference is you are supposed to sit with that and be like, why do I connect with this? What am I supposed to learn here? What am I supposed to process here? And then continue on with your life. You're not supposed to be like, I relate so heavily with this. It actually is about me, and it's about my experience because they were watching me in my walls or something because they're my best friend. And now I'm going to message them and continue this conversation that we've been having.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
going to spend it's really important that we as fans, like you said, we relate to the songs for a reason, but it's very important that we keep the distance because like we can relate to the songs because they feel personal to us. They don't know us. They don't know that we're relating to the songs. They haven't written it for us.
mm,
They've not like it's not like Michael sat there and gone, "Oh my God, Toya, full government name, sing, 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 this, experience, experience, experience." No, he's written songs that he's felt like, and like you
mm,
said, there's similarities in the feelings, which is what makes us go, "Oh, that's why I like it because I felt like this once." He doesn't know that we feel like this. We could tell him, and he could go, "That's great," or "I'm so sorry," or whatever is relative to the emotion. I'm so glad my music helped you.
mm.
That being the key word, I'm so glad my music helped you, not me personally. I'm so glad my art helped you find comfort, not me personally as your friend helped you, because they
Yeah.
are separate things.
And that's why the reason why artists, because you'll notice it's not like, is Michael gonna ever gonna be enough? Or, you know, he doesn't put that personal anecdote in there because the point of that is he knows that at times he doesn't feel enough. He knows that at times his fans haven't found enough. He knows that when
Mhm.
you personally, the person singing along, say, am I ever going to be enough? You're putting yourself in his shoes or you're visualizing your situation.
Mhm.
Artists know this. They do this on purpose. Whether it doesn't matter what sort of art you're making it from some experience or some feeling, and you do it in a way that whoever's viewing it, whoever's becoming part of the experience, can also feel that. And that is exactly why these people who are really struggling will very quickly slip into these shoes of this is about me.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that's yeah, and that's where we need to, as individual people, but also as a group fan base, I think that's where we need to basically, there's been a situation online. I'm sure a lot of people have seen it. Even if you're not in the fandom, people have seen it. Um, I'm not going to say what's happened because I don't want it to be too obvious, but we know, right?
Yeah.
I think when stuff like that happens, I think it's really important to call them out, yes, to explain why it's wrong, yes, but to also stay respectful to a certain extent because we don't know the situation the other person is in. We don't know what has led them to do this and to act like
Mm,
this. And we don't know their mental state that is making them believe so deeply and truthfully to them that this is a realistic situation. The way cancel culture is within the Five Source fandom that I've experienced firsthand and by proxy,
mm,
things get very nasty very quickly. And it very, very, very quickly turns into this like just absolute vile, just anger. And I think it just baffles me because like there is no need for so much hate and anger towards situations that are, in this case, dangerous for multiple people involved.
Yeah.
But with there's obviously something about Michael's art has obviously very, very impactful. I understand that. We all feel that way about artists, and Michael in particular has spent years creating such a safe space for his fans and for the group's
Mm.
fans. He is such a sweetheart. He is so loving. He is so nice. When I took a selfie with him once, he asked me, he was like, "What's your good side? Where do
Oh,
you want to take the selfie?" Because usually it's always just, and you're done. He took the time to be like, what would you feel better? Like, how do you want to look in this photo? Because like ultimately it's on my phone. I'm gonna see it forever. I want to look good. He doesn't care. He's not going to care what he looks like, as well, to an extent. Um, because it's not on his phone, he doesn't ever have to see it again. I do. But he's the point is he's really sweet and he is very caring and very loving. But if something serious happened, he's not going to advocate for it. He's really not.
no.
He is so sweet and he's got children, which adds a whole other layer. But he's
That's
got
why I'm
children, so
offline.
yeah,
Because
he
I,
understands. But yeah, Michael cultivates such a lovely energy around himself and his family and his kids that I think as well, with children involved, and Lou is a couple years old now, I think, and
who?
new baby is still new
Mm.
baby. I think his whole life now is also about to take a few more shifts as these kids grow up. But I think it's so important for him to have this creative outlet for himself because you've got Lua on the other side of the phone that we see in like Instagrams and everything every now and again, being like, oh my God, and sing along to like daddy's songs and it's so cute. But I think it's also just really sweet that we as fans get to see how he is with young children because I
Mm.
think the safety that he creates in the fans it's only going to amplify because he's going to start really understanding the stuff that young girls go through and
Yeah.
he's going to start in say 10 years time I reckon there's going to be a little switch in his brain that goes, oh, that's why they relate to me so much because they go through this because he's seen it with his daughters, they've got their favorite artists, whatever. So I think it's going to be really I think it's just going to be really sweet to see his kids grow up. This is going to sound so, I don't know how to say this without sounding weird. I just think
It's
it's really cute. But I do think it's sweet that we'll be able to see Michael with his kids, like watch his kids grow up and he'll be able to kind of relive
mm,
the experience of like having a favorite artist again because his kids are going to grow up and look at him as either the best artist in the world because that's my dad, that's so cool, or he's going to be the most embarrassing dad ever, and it's going to be fantastic either way. But I think it's going to be so cool that Michael gets to like relive it all through his daughters.
yeah. I mean, even in the interviews, he I want to say it was for the Grammy Museum, but I might be wrong. When he was talking about like he's played his music for Crystal and Lua, and that Lua had two favorite songs, and there's Dada and there's More Dada, where she'll just walk up and she'll go and like baby sign More Dada, More Dada.
Yeah.
And I believe that the second song was actually Give Me a Break with Austin. Um, and if you've seen any of that stuff, like during the promotional run, like Austin was really involved with like Lua and stuff and even showed up to her like second birthday party. It's really
Mhm.
interesting how like family and music almost like coexist for Michael. Like obviously he's sung about his daughters and his wife and like his friendships. Um, or like his friendships are with these musicians that then become like a big part of his music as well. Like it, music is his world, and you get
Yeah,
to and you get let into it for like a small moment in time. For a small moment in time.
exactly. Exactly. And I think it's so with the album, be it like let's say it averages on like 40 minutes,
Hmm.
to be able to go through so many themes and so many different like messages and so many feelings and emotions in such a short amount of time, whilst also somehow capturing the last 15 years
Mm.
in 40 minutes, I think is incredible. I think that's just fantastic that we get to sit there and we can listen to one 3 minute song and go, I kind of remember when he was talking about this 12 years ago.
Yeah.
And like if you're a long-term fan and you can relate the things back to moments in time or situations that we as fans were watching unfold, I just think it's really awesome that we are let into it. And like you said, even for a short amount of time, I just love it.
Yeah.
It's so fascinating to me that we're able to consume music and media and art in the way that we do. And I think people like Michael Clifford, all stereotypes included, that he is the emo boy and he was the one that dyed all of his hair and he lost his passport and he got burnt in the face.
Oh no, don't
Tragic.
bring that up. Let's leave that one alone. It's been a rough week for Michael, and you're gonna bring that up.
I was there when it happened, okay, I'm allowed to bring it up.
Okay, fair enough.
All of the stuff he's been through, stereotypes and all, tragedies and all,
Hmm.
accidents like leaving your passport and ending up in an Amex commercial and all.
He has the most
I
insane law ever.
He does, but I just think even as a long-term fan, watching it all unfold, like happen in real time, was crazy. But
Mm.
even as the new fans are like discovering, either they're discovering him through his solo music or they're discovering solo music through the most recent Five Sauce albums, you can just relive it all in such a small little piece of art. I think it's so cool.
Actually, I will say, when I heard that the album came out and it was called Side Quest, I was like, oh my goodness, like alt cover. It's just like him in that commercial.
Oh, but you
Yeah.
just know.
Yeah, I was waiting. I was like, seriously, like just one bonus track with that alt cover.
I think yeah. But also he's released that
Carry Me
demo.
Away.
Yes. I
Yeah.
know Crystal was doing a lot of promotion for it, a lot of like sneaky, she was a lot of like messaging and like what is it, like the Instagram channels or whatever it's called, the broadcast thing.
Yeah.
I know she was being like really low key about it for like 24
Oh,
hours before it
that
dropped,
was
and
not
then it
low
dropped out
key.
of the blue.
That was
No, but
not,
like because we had no context, so like in that
yeah.
sense it was low key. Like she was outright saying it, and it was so obvious, but all of us were like, "What are you on about?"
Uh,
And then like 2 hours later, he drops this song, and everyone's like, "Oh, that's what it was."
yes, but also what I'm going to say is someone who's actually from New Zealand. The song had fully shown up on my phone before Crystal started talking about it in the broadcast channels.
Yeah, people had seen there was, I think it had
Yeah.
leaked on Spotify. I think it was I think his Spotify artwork had changed and everyone was like, ah,
Yeah.
what's this?
Well, I woke up that morning and went because I was trying to like win some argument with my brother about what a song was called. Opened up and I was like, the heck? That's a new Michael song. I was like, when does that drop? And I pressed on it, pressed play, and it played. And I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm not sure I'm supposed to have this. What is going on? Um, Left it, didn't say anything about it. Saw someone on Twitter commented about it, and I was like, that's funny. I
Like,
saw that
oh,
too.
yeah.
Yeah. Then suddenly, Crystal starts doing all of this stuff, and I'm like, okay, so we are supposed to have it. And everyone's like, oh my goodness, it's dropping soon. And I'm just sitting there being like, listen to it already.
Had it on
But
repeat for the last 3 hours. What are you guys on about?
yeah, that's that's also quite funny is like um the amount of times, and it's always Michael and Luke. I love the boys, but it's always Michael and Luke, where someone's like, I love this new album. They're like, it's not even out yet. Like I remember seeing that a lot with around side quests where all of like the Kiwis and Aussies started talking about it, and then like hours later he comes online and he's like, it finally dropped, like, and he made some side comment about the fans who've been talking about it before it dropped, and I'm just sitting there like, is New Zealand a joke to you? Like, you're from Australia, you must know that it's been out for a while there.
Like,
But
you know about time zones, right? Like, you say midnight local, that means we get it 12 hours early. Like,
yeah,
that poor boy. But yeah, I think the events around SideQuest were the thrift shop. I would have loved to have gone to that. I think
yeah,
that's such a cool way to get rid of the stuff that you don't particularly want or need anymore. I don't know the process. I don't know if he made people pay or if it was like a first come, first serve, you pick things up, or I'm not
bit
sure.
of
I'm not
both
going to
from what
get
I
into
saw. Like
Huh?
you, it was a bit of both. So there were some items that you got for free, but also like some items you had to pay for.
I don't know. But I do think it's a really cool way for him to get rid of some of the stuff that he doesn't necessarily want, but they were also like all very iconic pieces
Yeah,
that were easily recognizable as Five Sauce fans. And I just think it's so cool that so many people have gone home and have like an actual piece of Michael's wardrobe with them. And it's
yeah.
one of a kind, mind you, as well. It's not like a merch drop and, 10,000 hoodies have gone out. It's people have like one of a kind. Someone out there probably has the original idiot flannel.
Someone does. I did see that.
That's
And
so
it's
cool.
yeah, like, but that was it was also really funny because you'd see fans and they'd post like Michael wearing it and then them wearing it, and it was like it was a big moment, but it was also really funny because some fans were like, "Oh, there's like Austin Knight's high def that was in there," or like, someone was just like, "Wow, Michael's gone solo and now he's getting." I think it was Luke merch or something, like a nostalgia hoodie.
Mm,
Um, and he's like, "Wow, Michael's gone solo and now he's getting rid of his bandmates merch." Like, because there was also like a calm bucket hat or something, and it was hilarious because if you are a fan of the band and of Michael, you know that going solo does not mean breaking up. I've written a whole article on it. It does not always mean that. But there were a lot of fans who just to like have a funny moment on the internet would been like, guys, like the breakup was messy, like the band is so over. And then people from outside the fandom would look into it. And then because of that, they'd look into his music. And so
mhm,
it became like an unintended promotional tool in a way, which I think is hilarious. Because again, we've both studied marketing and you know that like when people catch on to something and it brings you press, but you didn't really like intend it that way, like that
mhm.
is it's a gold mine. Um, so I think that
Like
thrift shop,
that was meant to be a cute little intimate thing with the fans that got tickets to that thing, and then
yeah,
it kind of unintentionally just blew up.
yeah.
Because even like I didn't know anything about it because like I wasn't heavy following the side quest era. I just
Yeah,
saw dribs and drabs of it throughout whatever I wasn't back on Stan Twitter at the time. Even it got to my personal accounts,
yeah,
and I was like, oh my God, Michael's so cool. Like, what? Love that he's like filtering out his wardrobe because one, you're decluttering your home.
mm,
Love that. Two, you're making space for new things. Love that. Three, you are changing so many people's lives in such an exciting way. People are pumped to even be in the room with these things, let alone go home with a new little flannel that says idiot on the back. One of a kind because it's his. Not one that I've recreated at home because I saw a Tumblr post about it. The OG.
yeah. Um,
Iconic.
the way that Michael like did all of his press for SideQuest as well, as someone who does like church events and women's ministry and also just like general community events, the way I was saving stuff, screenshots everywhere to mood boards, being like, ladies, we need to do this, we need to do that. Like the thrift shop, immediately I went a clothes exchange with
Hmm.
ladies. That would like that would be really cool. We haven't done it yet. I'm still pushing for it. But seriously, everything that happened around the side quest era, just even the big visuals, the mirror in the thrift shop with all of the like was it like stuffed toys around it or something like that? It was very colorful and bold and
Yeah.
vibrant. Everything from this era, immediately I was like, yeah, this is the theme. This is what we need. And even like we're about to roll into a big women's conference. I can't even remember what the theme is, but best believe that little Easter eggs relating to side quest and how bold and vibrant that was will make an appearance. Like it's even like the video for Enough, that immediately became a reference for me where I was talking to a musician about their music video and I was like, well, there's this moment here and like this would fit with like this other thing that you do in your style and like this and that and the other. I I love this era. Like it's such a big visual moment and I will never stop. I'll just that's a don't stop joke. Damn it.
I I just think it says a lot about who he is as a person and as an artist, to how excited everyone was. Not only when this dropped, but when the rollouts started happening and the events started happening and the Grammy Museum show and the thrift shop and the little meet and greets and the photo shoots and the fact that he did a collaboration with a kind of cool mag, which is this like independent fan run thing, which is like so important to
Yeah.
platform fangirls like that, fan people, fans, whatever. So important to platform things that are led by fans in the way that he did, because fans are the backbone of the industry. We are the people that kind of decide what's worth listening to, what's worth spending money on, and so on. Because if your fans aren't spending money on you, if your fans aren't streaming you, you're not going to be as successful as maybe you want to be. So it's really
Mm.
vital that you listen to what your fans want. And I think Michael managed to do that perfectly. And I think he managed to even surpass that because I would, whilst I think it's sick that we were able to like see his wardrobe, but never in a million years would I think he would actually put it out on display and go, take your pick.
Yeah.
Like, it felt really like
Yeah.
inclusive to everyone. It made everyone feel so seen and so loved, and it's so sweet.
Yeah,
It's
and what you
just
said
so
about
sweet.
the kind of cool magazine as well, like that was a big moment, especially because during that era, the groovy mood was just starting to take off and like become a thing. That was a moment where I was like, oh, there are artists out there who really, really pay attention. Like I was commenting and liking all of these posts like from my personal account, but also from the groovy mood account, like me and all of my admins who are in that account because it was just so nice to see that moment, like that shared moment between fan and artist and like fan-led magazine. Um, Michael knows, he very much knows, he pays attention, probably chronically online. That's a warning for some people. Man's chronically online.
He sees everything.
hmm but he's just so aware of like who he is, how he portrays himself, how people take it in. And he really played into that this era. So you have to pay attention because how can you not? It's right there. It's, he's put himself out into the world in a way that you can't miss. Even if you don't particularly like his music, because I understand it, he's not for everyone. But even if you
Mhm.
don't like his music, this the side quest era, like my mum would open her Instagram and it was all over her feed. Can't say the same about any of the other Five Stars boys, actually. She's never once held up her phone and going, look at this. Mum was holding up her phone
Mhm.
going, look at this thrift store. And I'm like, exactly, Mum. I've been trying to actually get you to use that as a reference for a women's event. Glad that you finally saw it on your own phone. But anyway,
Yeah, like I said just now, like that was the only era because I was here for Super Bloom.
Yeah,
Fine. I was leaving during When Facing the Things We Turn Away From, and then I wasn't here for Boy, Blood on the Drums, Order Chaos Order, or Side Quest. But even though I'm a Callum bias, I went searching for Order Chaos Order.
yeah,
Obviously I follow all the boys on social media, so I was seeing Callum's content about it, but the like signings that he did in London and stuff, I had to search for. Side Quest, I, it was just everywhere. It was just everywhere. It was on Michael's own socials I was following him on, but like I said, I was on my personal like Twitter account and I was getting the for you like recommended things, and it's like everything about side quest and these drops and the thrift shop and the Grammy Museum and these collabs and these cuddly toys and this photo shoot that he did and the booth, and I was just like, oh my god, he like this is so loud. This is incredible.
yeah. And a lot of that also like shaped ideas for the groupie movie as well as like um I can't remember. I think it must have been Bloopy or something, where everyone was like so attached to like that character with side quest. And everyone's like, oh, like if Bloopy was like a little soft toy, people were like that would be great merch. And it did get us thinking, like someone actually presented that in the groupie merch team as like we should we should turn our cow mascots into little soft toys, and we're still looking into it because not sure how to get that manufactured. So side note, if anyone wants that, we are working on it. Um, but it was that thing, and like even like promoting an album by having a sandwich, like that's cool.
Yeah, that was yeah, I forgot about that. That was so cool. What it
It
was
had
called?
me searching. I've never even heard of the place, and I couldn't tell you where it was. But it had me going online and searching like different Kiwi artists to see if anyone in New Zealand had a sandwich named after them.
Yeah, yeah, I remember when I saw the sandwich, I knew that the restaurant was going to be nowhere near me. I knew it wasn't going to be like a worldwide chain thing. But I
Mm,
was like, I need to see what's in the sandwich because I want to recreate it. Unfortunately, I think there was meat in it. So,
mm.
damn.
Yeah, but it was really interesting because during the Callum rollout, I was like, how does Callum not have a taco named after him? So then the fact that Michael had a sandwich named after him, I'm like, yes, your marketing team is amazing. Like, yeah,
Exactly.
even just this is my marketing brain. Order chaos order. You should have a mug that's a color changing mug, blue order, red chaos when it heats up.
Hmm.
I don't know. I actually did
I
do a
mean,
whole assessment on that. I did a whole assessment on missed opportunities for Callum versus how well Michael did. And I don't want to compare the boys, but I'm sorry, they were releasing around the same time. It happened.
it was inevitable, yeah.
Yeah.
I do, yeah. I my brain swells with marketing ideas all the time.
Yeah.
And then I never write them down,
I
which is
designed them
horrible.
in Canva and then let them die. Um, that being said, if if Luke Hemmings would like to open his DMs, I have a really good business idea. I'm kidding. I spent $1 to send it to him. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I did.
We have to keep a dollar joke in there somewhere. It's relevant.
Yeah. Can someone give me $1? I've got a really a good idea for when facing the things we turn away from cosmetics. I've done a whole big mood board, and if I just had $1, I could send it to Luke. Just $1 is all I'm
Can someone send me a dollar so I can send my close personal friend Michael Clifford a text and ask him for a sandwich?
I mean, I do actually like have complete mood boards for like a cosmetics range for Luke. I'm not joking. I could send it to you. Um, I also had around the Super Bloom era, I designed a candle with like the characters on it. You know, like the little scribbles he did. I designed like a and it was the scent that I was inspired by was like something that I related to Super Bloom. I think it was kind of like grassy, earthy. But anyway, That was a side quest. Yeah. Been this week's episode of Mel and Mike. Have a groovy week.